What's going on, guys, and welcome back. The Planet Hulk season delivers on monster stats and power slams as the Hulks take over the January Marvel Snap meta. Now, Second Dinner hates the idea of me getting sleep, so they released not one card, but two different cards, and I already covered Scar to complete length. If you guys want to check out that video, it's going to help a lot to understand the way that he works. But today is all about Hulk's babe, Caiera, and this new High Evo deck. Now, Caiera, the long-awaited set card, is finally the counter to Killmonger and Shang-Chi and is our first Spotlight card in 2024. She seems absolutely busted as a 3-cost, 4-power card equipped with the ability ongoing. Your 1 and 6-cost cards cannot be destroyed. But is she worth buying? That's the ultimate question today. I played a ridiculous amount of the card, and I'm going to dump all my first impressions. Jumping right in, let's look at the star ratings, guys. I'm going to be giving her a 5 out of 5 for the competitive star rating. How good of a card is she? And I don't give 5s out often in this category. But Caiera, she checks all the boxes. She's great on curve, good power, and her ability is so damn good and very hard to stop. Now, a fun factor, again, this is always subjective. She's not exactly the most fun card in the world. She's a 2-star here. Not really doing all that much, right? Armor's not making you scream from hilarity of the rooftops. But, you know, what's more fun than winning cubes? And Caiera's going to help that by keeping your 6 and 1-cost cards alive. Next up is flexibility, and Caiera will be getting a 4-star rating. A new tech card, as they usually are, can be played into just about any deck. She does have decks that she prefers, but in my testing, I found she doesn't feel like that 13th card in the deck and really earns her spot within a ton of the meta options. And then lastly, guys, the last section here is the adjustment section, right? Are they going to get buffed or nerfed? Are they nerf-proofed? Should you guys buy her now, or should you fear that she's going to be nerfed? And sadly, I'm going to give her like a 2.5 here. I'm not sold at all that this card will not be nerfed. It could probably even go down to like a 1.5 or 2 if I'm being honest about it. Because, well, again, she's damn good. You know, they might adjust her cost to 4. They may take her power down a little bit. She seems like she's going to be destined for some kind of nerf in the future. Again, they may not nerf her. You can play her while you can if you want to go that route. But I do feel in my gut at some point of the year, Caiera is going to get some form of an adjustment. Now, it's not too hard to go through quickly the Synergies cards with Caiera. There's not an overwhelming a lot. You know, you can plug in all the 1-cost, 6-cost cards. But the top Synergy cards that I have so far has got to be Blue Marvel and Kazar. Obviously, love her. Finally, Zoo decks can be competitive again. It was really hard not to make a guide on those, but definitely you'll see one in the future. High Evolution, as we're going to talk about today, benefits from both the powerful 1-drops and the powerful 6-drops and is a natural lover of Caiera. Lockjaw and cheating out big cards early alongside Thanos and all of the stones are obviously natural synergistic cards with Caiera. And then, of course, Scar, her son, no question about it, her and She-Hulk. Both these cards are usually cheated out a bit early, and Caiera is going to protect them. And then quickly looking at some other cards, if we look and take a focus at the 6-cost cards, you know, obviously we talked about She-Hulk, Hulk, Blob, Ultron, Destroyer, and Orca. All probably get the most benefit from Caiera if we're looking into detail, as these are ones that are often destroyed by Shang-Chi, or in Ultron's case, having his drones go poof. And then as far as the 1-drops, we talked about Zoo, but Human Torch, Sunspot, Nebula, even Black Knight and Quinjet, cards that you kind of feared might be eliminated from Killmonger. You could just play a lot more safe. Obviously, Shauna, Dazzler, they get a little bit of an increase as well. And then Zero and Ebony Maw in the Sauron decks definitely love the protection from Caiera as well. Caiera and locations. One of my favorite pieces about this card is Rickety Bridge, Death Domain, all these other locations that destroy your cards. Fear no more. Danger Room doesn't matter. Caiera is going to protect the 1 and the 6 cost. And that feels really good. It feels great to drop a Nebula in Danger Room, and they cannot keep up with it. You can drop the Hulk in Death Domain. There's a lot of ways to win easily with her, and there's more destroy locations than you might think. Unless you play a lot of destroy, then obviously you know there's a lot of them out there. Let's go ahead and check out the best Caiera decks. Now, today's video was supposed to be a dedicated deck guide, but my son took his first steps today, so instead, we're going to be focusing on the best Caiera decks that you could be playing at the moment, with my deck guides to be coming out shortly. Now, we did talk about her flexibility. She could go in a lot of different archetypes, but by far, no question, High Evolutionary is without a doubt the best deck right now for Caiera. The deck and her both share a common purpose: win with 1 and 6 cost cards, and no deck does it better and then high evolutionary with both costs. Now, this new and improved leech deck is one that you guys are probably used to seeing, and it's not all that different. Heck, you don't even see Scar in this build, but the numbers are there. It's definitely showing up, and in my testing, it's performed pretty damn well. So even if you don't get Scar, but maybe you get Caiera, this is definitely something that I would test out, or throw in Scar for Infinite if you want to go that route. Now, right away, I thought Quinjet was going to be awesome to pair with this, and it looks like Regis came up with an awesome version of the deck where he's got Shocker and Quinjet involved in the high evo package. It's performing really good because you're able to have cheap everything. You can Moon Girl to have the cheap She-Hulk and the cheap Hulk. The Shocker could discount things. You got Scar in there as well that's also discounted because you have all this 10 power stuff out there. Again, magic just blends with the deck and everything works together here. And then sprinkle on top that all of your one-cost cards, including Quinjet, are protected. Both that first deck and this deck are by far my favorite Caiera early builds with very high win rates and ones that you should consider taking to Infinite. Now, if you saw my video yesterday, you saw that I was starting to cook up a little something with Shuri and Scar, and I think I found a pretty good build here. I was building up and able to use to a good amount of success. Now, as you guys can see, we've got both Caiera and Scar mixed with Zabu to help ramp us up, to get Shuri out there to double our card's power to 10 easily, with Atumo ramped out as well, protected by armor. Taskmaster can copy a number of cards here to great success. And then, of course, we just have our big 6-cost cards like Blob, She-Hulk, and Scar. Caiera is able to do a lot of different things in one package here, protecting the 1-cost, protecting the 6-cost, and really just between that and armor, everything feels pretty damn good. This deck was soaring through the ranks for me, and I'm excited for other people to build upon it. Now, it's still very early on, guys, but there is zoo decks being cooked up, and I cannot wait to get a deck guide out there. But in the meantime, Thanos obviously makes tons of sense with Caiera, and the package that I tried to focus on is something involving Devil Dinosaur and Blue Marvel. Obviously, Devil Dinosaur is going to be built up to great power to help you get out things like Scar, and Caiera is going to protect all of the stones in tandem with Blue Marvel to get a nice spread of wide power. This is where all that location stuff comes in from earlier, that you can protect the stones playing into death domain so your stones aren't as subject to death, right? Not only Killmonger, but like death itself in locations. Obviously, we have things like Dr. Octopus for some disruption and more 10 power, Blob to soak it all up, and this deck has been working pretty well for me. It comes off a little bit greedy, but with all of the ramping, you have plenty of ways to get these big cards out there, or you can just float it and play something like She-Hulk early alongside a couple of stones. Patience, my friends. We will have an awesome zoo deck that is a true Khazar zoo deck in the days to come. And the last deck I have for you guys is New Jane Jaw. Now, this deck is awesome to cheat out big cards for Scar. You can also build up Thor, build up your Sunspot, and then, of course, protect everything just about in the deck with Caiera. The snap conditions are pretty obvious, and this time you don't have to worry about your Lockjaw lane, maybe a big card coming out early, because Caiera is going to be there for protection. So ultimately, guys, I think she's definitely worth it as far as spotlight caches go. She might be nerfed, and that's about the only con that I have about the card. She's super great with deck building. You can do a lot with her and experiment a ton, whether you like Zoo, or maybe you like Ramp, or maybe you like High Evo. Caiera is going to have a place in a ton of deck builders collections. And that's going to be it for another Ultimate Deck Guide. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did, help me reach my goal of 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Probably not going to happen, but it's all about making goals that you maybe aren't going to hit, like half my health goals. But either way, I appreciate you guys hanging out. Good luck out there in the Planet Hulk season, and until the next one, happy snapping.